So Bob, can you please tell me a little bit about yourself and your current company?
Sure. My name is Bob Antes. The company I founded in 1984 is called Trade Trans Corporation. We've been in business now 35 years, obviously, coming on 36, and are involved in the food service support industry. We work with the international licensees of US-based franchise organizations. And we do everything from our end to assist them in promoting their brand and making their business successful. We purchase, act on, and ship a variety of materials in support of their efforts. This would be food service equipment, supplies, disposables, packaging, food, et cetera, et cetera. So we pretty much are involved in everything that they may need from the U.S. to help them grow their franchise in the country they're based in.
Right. So what made you decide the food supply chain? It's a pretty niche.
My initial entry into the world of business, big business, was with a multinational back in the early 70s, and they were a manufacturer of industrial food products as well as consumer food products. And I started with them at an entry-level position and found myself a year later involved in their export department in exporting a variety of well-known brands at that time, Hellmann's mayonnaise, Skippy peanut butter, and the like, and progressed there for quite a few years and moved it forward through a variety of opportunities over the years to be able to get to where we are today.
That is very cool. So what are some attributes do you think qualifies someone as a rock star of the food supply chain?
Well, I think one needs to be really kind of focused on what is going on in the world. We take pride in the fact that we are very knowledgeable about the business in general, having had the experiences that I've had as well as my staff has had over the years in accumulating all the knowledge and information necessary to make the distribution of food service equipment and supplies as seamless as possible for our customers. My biggest focus has been in maintaining or establishing and maintaining relationships with our customers overseas. We've been fortunate that I've been able to travel around the world and meet most of these people face to face, which has been a great thing. Through those relationships, we've established a level of trust that allows us to really work on behalf of them and bring them as much success as possible.
Did COVID shift anything for you?
It created some difficulty back in April, May, June. Things certainly slowed down. We had to reduce our time spent in the office in the month of June because business had pretty much evaporated. At the same time, the needs of our customers still were there. And we had to make sure we were able to keep their supply chain open. It did create some difficulties. We had to work with them very closely in accommodating some of their financial matters. Obviously, with their businesses being affected by COVID, there was not enough business for them to buy everything that they needed, and when they did not have the cash. So we were playing banker for a bit of time as well, in support of our licensees. So it was a challenging period of time, but we did manage to move through it, and at the end, I think developed even closer relationships with our customers as a result of the actions that we took.
Right. How do you like gain someone's trust in a situation like that?
Well, in my experience, it's been a matter of living up to your word, doing what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it, being able to be relied upon by the customer to make sure that their needs are being met and that we are fulfilling that mission of ours, which is to support their efforts in developing their business.
Right. And then what are some things you think people should know about the global food and beverage supply chain? Because it's a really cool industry, right?
It's an extremely broad industry. I mean, there are so many different variations of the food service business globally. The focus area for us has been in the QSR, quick service restaurant, also known as the fast food world, as well as what they refer to as fast casual. There are quite a number of different opportunities within this sector to look at. There's obviously the commercial side of it that we're on. There's institutional organizations as well that deal with food service that we have not been involved with, but there are quite a few opportunities, whether it's in the food service business itself and dealing with equipment and supplies and the like, or whether it's in the transportation and logistics business, which are support efforts that are needed to get product from the United States to points all over the world.
And then how is technology playing a role in this? And because like tech is becoming so important to the supply chain and just like it's changing our everyday life. Like we're talking right now over a computer.
Indeed. It's changed a considerable amount in the years that I've been in business. I'm dating myself, but going back to the early 70s, the primary means of communication was actually letter, if you can believe that. Telexes and the precursor, the faxes were just, fax machine was just coming into its own back in the late 70s, early 80s. And as things evolved from the fax machine to email to this type of forum for communication, it's made a big difference in being able to be more rapidly in contact with our customer base and our vendors and the brands. So it's changed a lot. It's become much more immediate, and that can be good and not so good. The expectation, I think, is that everything needs to be done immediately so that they feel that they're being attended to. So it's changed the perspective a little, but most of it, I think, has been a good a development in the world of communication. It's a lot more challenging in other areas of technology to shift from past systems to present systems. In our particular instance, we've just moved from an old style order entry program and accounting system into a brand new one that is much more robust, much more coherent, and it's now on the cloud. So we have access remotely. We can do things like you and I are doing right now, with our customers, with our vendors, or remotely from home should the need arise. So it's I think on balance, it's been a plus. It does create some challenges from time to time, but for the most part, it's been a good thing.
How do you control change management then for something like that? Because as you mentioned before, you've seen all the different forms of communication get rolled out. So how do you help your employees transition?
It's really a matter of kind of planning out what we really need to accomplish in our organization. And after reviewing the various options that are out there, we make a decision based on the best fit for us, and then bring everyone into the process, bring in new ideas, new thinking, so that we can both address our needs as well as make our employees comfortable in adopting the new technology. So it's worked out fairly well. We've had a shift recently over the last 6 months to move to a new platform, and it's being managed by one of our in-house staff, and he's done a very good job in coordinating the efforts of all employees in making this thing a successful transition and implementation. So we're excited about that.
Yeah. And then are there any challenges that you have faced in the industry? And if so, how did you overcome them?
I suppose the biggest challenge that we face certainly was evident during COVID in working within the supply chain is to ensure the continuity of supply primarily for our customers, but also being able to get the materials that we need so that we can manage them within our warehouse and then get them shipped overseas. During the height of COVID back in late spring, early summer last year, there were a lot of manufacturers that had reduced their schedules, laid off employees because demand had been reduced. So trying to get materials and in a timely manner and back out in a timely manner certainly had its moments. It was not a simple process at that point because we're having to work around many people's schedules, and it just became more of a juggling act, which we actually got through pretty well. So it worked out okay.
I can't imagine having to work in an industry as important as the food supply chain during COVID, especially when people were like stockpiling and hoarding stuff. That like scary.
It was certainly a different experience than most that I've had over the years. It presented some unique challenges in accessing materials and ensuring that we could do the work we need to do, making sure that all our staff was available and healthy to perform to our customers' requirements. But for the most part, we managed fairly well through that process, and everybody really pitched in and put their best efforts into to make it a success in moving through the pandemic.
And so what is some advice that you would give to people first starting out in the industry?
I would say one of the bigger things for me anyway was to really enjoy what it is that you're doing, to have a passion for working with people, for understanding different cultures and different ways of looking at things, working with different people throughout the world to better understand what their needs are. Really kind of doing some basic homework on what skill sets are needed in order to start it. But more than anything, I would say it would be the drive and the desire to really move into this business sector and really persevere through all the obstacles that come your way, and and just continue to work through the difficulties that come up in this business, and I'm sure most. There is a lot of regulatory matters that have to be contended with, both with our government as well as foreign governments. It's not necessarily an easy task to do business in some countries, so there are a lot of hurdles to jump. But understanding some of these things and just getting a sense of what the possibilities are, I think would go a long way to helping somebody get involved in the business. But doing, your basic due diligence and understanding, the broad scope of the business, and then picking a segment that might found to be exciting to really put your efforts behind and make it happen.
I just think the supply chain is so great. and I say that like very earnestly because no 2 days are the same. And it can be challenging, but it's like a good challenge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's one of those things that I've enjoyed over the years, and because I'm committed to making this thing successful, the people that do come on board and work for TradeTrans really have a similar mindset, and it's been gratifying to see everybody step up and really take charge of their responsibilities and hold themselves to high account so that we can get what we need to do done and make sure that the customer is taken care of.
Right. You'll never meet a more passionate group of people than supply chain professionals.
I've certainly met quite a few over the years, and most everybody that I've met really enjoys the business. It cuts across a lot of different segments of the economy, but I've found that most people are really a pleasure to work with. You run into the occasional oddball circumstance, but that kind of comes with the territory anyway. But it's been a great opportunity to meet people not only within the United States but throughout the world. So that it really is fun. We have a good time doing what we're doing, and we're making a success for them and for us.
Oh, good. And so, Bob, we are running short on time, so I just have one last question for you.
Sure.
Today. And what does it mean to you to be selected as one of Food Logistics' rock stars of the supply chain? Well,
I certainly appreciate the honor that Food Logistics Magazine has bestowed on me. It's kind of a neat circumstance. It's not something that I've encountered very much, even though at earlier points in time I had been a quote unquote rock star in my personal life and playing with a rock band. But this is really it's really nice. It's really nice to be acknowledged, and I think it's good for me personally, but more so I think it's great for the company because it really exemplifies the type of efforts and beliefs that our organization has and our people have to make a difference in the world of food service. So.
Oh, well, thank you.
I thank you again.
Oh, no problem. Thank you so much, Bob. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day.
Excellent. McKenna, thank you. You have a fabulous day, and we'll look forward to seeing more of the magazine.
Oh, great. Thank you.